And in today's episode, we'll be shedding some light on automotive grease. The first problem that I came across was the words used to describe grease on the packaging was misleading. For example, high temperature grease is not really high temperature. Then we had the added salt thickeners like moly, clay, silicone that introduce another complexity in choosing the right grease. And probably my biggest issue was that none of the part stores that I visited had heavy duty grease that actually met the standards. Now, when it comes to choosing oil, it becomes much more simpler because you have your synthetic, your conventional, a blend, and then you have the winter and the hot rating. And then when it comes to colors, it just doesn't mean anything. Now, when it comes to old classic vehicles, it's imperative that these be serviced more often versus modern cars, where more of these cars are coming with lifelong sealed parts. The reason to get a good quality heavy duty GC rated grease is because of the amount of heat that's generated from the brake rotors. These are the types of greases that we have and the best applications. And then we also have special types of greases to add to the equation. These are some of the factors that will help you in choosing your grease. And when it comes to the NLGI rating for automotive grease, the thickness that you'll go with is 2. I've seen guys go with 3 as well. And the thickness of 2 is more of the consistency of peanut butter. One other thing that you need to consider is the method you're going to use to actually apply this grease. And again, any reputable manufacturer will always have the standards that you can download from the web. Don't be misled by what's written on the packaging. The first type of grease that I'll use is white lithium based grease, and that's for car doors, for example, the Corvette, where you don't want ugly looking grease stains on your clothes. The second type of grease that we have is for CV joints, and it has molybdenum disulfide in it. You just need to be careful using it with certain types of plastics. This CV joint is a good example of where you can benefit from using the Smolly grease. Um, Quite often these boots get damaged. You can see it's cracked. They get bust open. They are vulnerable. They're closest to the road where the tire kicks up all the muck, dirt, water. And what the molly does is, even if the boot is completely damaged and the grease is washed out, it leaves a residue on the components so that you can get to the next service where you can identify the boot that's been damaged and grease it up again, put the boot on, and then you're good. Where the other greases wouldn't work as well. This is probably the only grease that you can identify by its color. The moly in the grease gives you that dark gray, blackish tint. The third type of grease that we'll be looking at is a light duty LB rated grease. That means it's a chassis grease and it has a 176 degree or a 350 Fahrenheit dropping point. Now this is the minimum acceptable limit for that light duty grease. And the fourth type of grease that we want to cover is the heavy duty lithium based grease. And this is the grease that we had a problem acquiring in the local parts stores. You'll see that it has a GCLB rating on it. That means it's good for wheel bearings and you can use it as a chassis grease. It has a 260 degree, that's a 500 Fahrenheit dropping point, and you'll see the Valvoline data sheet lower down. It has a 50% load wear protection. Now this type of grease can be used in steerings, chassis and wheel bearings. And I think it's a good time to discuss the dropping point of grease. Now this is not the operating temperature of the grease. This is the temperature at which the grease will break down in the structure when it's exposed to extreme heat. Now the G and the C means that it's the automotive best and it's a wheel bearing grease. And there we have the standards and the acceptable limits, the minimum acceptable limits for this grease. The EP extreme pressure test calls for 4 balls that's placed under pressure and it's rotated until it welds together. Now this is what a good quality heavy duty grease data sheet looks like. You'll see that it has a GCLB rating, the dropping point of around 500 degrees Fahrenheit. The 4 ball wear is around 0.55 millimeter, and then the ball extreme pressure weld point is around 300 kilograms. Some of them will be in newtons, that's around 3000 newtons. Why would you choose a lithium grease? It's the most common grease out there. If you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, that's probably the grease that you're going to get. And it has extremely good mechanical, thermal, good load bearing capacity, and it has rust protection in it as well. Now, you know you cannot mix brake fluid 5.0 silicone with a .34 or 5.1 brake fluid. Similar to this, you cannot mix different types of soap greases with a lithium based grease. Your silicone, calcium, moly, and the clay types of grease do not mix well with the lithium soap type of grease. You can either lower the dropping point, the grease could thicken, or you could weaken this grease. So I hope this was helpful, and if there's any other advice you guys need, just ask.